I can start, and I start with like the sun rising. At my home place. It's in Germany. And the funny thing is today, the technical difficulties. I'm in Sweden again, and Sweden is a place where I helped this one first at the DevOps days. And since then, I made new experience. And if you heard about Sweden, Colombia, it's on the other side of the ocean. There were Vikings in the past, and that's why I have some examples brought. Actually, a reason why I created this one is uh, sometimes, going beside the roads. Uh, I'm John Behrens. I'm from North Germany in Holstein, and I work sometimes as an agile coach, and sometimes I work in more technical stuff like developer, quality engineer, um, tester, or sometimes agile coach or scrum master. And besides usual work, I do some martial arts. I work as a lifeguard, and I do photography. This one. What is really important at both things, agile and at DevOps, and one really important thing is which you have at both is feedback loops and measurements. And we're going to see which one you are using inside your talk. In Agile, you work in iterations. And Scrum has its sprints, but also if you do Kanban, you will have frequent things to look back. In DevOps, you have releases, and release is always also some kind of iteration. What's the same and what you need at any job? It does not matter if you are a hairdresser or if you are a carpenter, is three things, and these things are tools, these things are skills, and it is mindset. If you don't know what the ocean is and that you can get it on the side and it's a nice thing to go somewhere by ship, you will likely not be able to build one. So teaching the will to drive or to sail somewhere will help you in creating a ship. On the other hand, you also need tools, because without tools, most things do not work. But skills to do stuff, and sometimes skills are even more important than tools. Yeah, what kind of do we have? And I called this guy the traditional DevOps engineer, and if it looks similar like someone you know, maybe not. The DevOps engineer usually has some kinds of tools: command line interface, automatization, script, Perl, whatever he's using, Grafana, Ansible, Chef, Docker, Kubernetes, or some cloud scripting or cloud configuration stuff. The skills he needs is he's configuring environments that run software, hold it stable, and analyze the failure. And the typical mindset he has is like, I'm the master of the operational platform, and keep them stable, deliver fast and satisfy the customer. So he's delivering fast that the customer can access the product running on the platform. Yeah, a quality engineer has another approach, which is he has other tools, usually JMeter, Selenium, HP Quality Center, Jira, Cucumber, explorative testing, and new tools approaching Cypress, Gherkin, whatever. But he has another attitude, which is finding bugs, analyze code, execute tests, and write reports. Its mindset is a bit different. He's proving software by bringing it to its limit, and by that, and showing errors, and by that he's improving it. I'm going to share some project experience where I see these both positions working together and maybe clashing together. And my first project, that was the first project where I've been in DevOps, and actually it happened by accident. It was about 2012, 2013, when the term DevOps still was new. I was hired as a Scrum Master, and I was working at a famous, it's a news magazine for young people, for not children, but growing up from 14 to 18 or something. And we needed to create a new website, and we didn't have infrastructure. So as a Scrum Master, what did I do? I removed the impediments. I asked for a server, and it installed Apache. And after I installed the Apache, one of our system engineers told me, "Oh, John, you are a little bit DevOps because usually you work in development, and now you can create infrastructure." And that was how I got into DevOps. Actually, we did a lot more stuff, like GitLab was pretty new, and we introduced GitLab, having everything in Git, automated even migration, and we had a lot of learnings. The first clash was planning of quality assurance and infrastructure before coding begins. The reason was basically I was there before we hired the team, and we had time to plan these processes, and we had time to make about quality assurance. What's really important is getting something to show at that project, because he was somebody was our product owner was asking to see actually something how it looked like, and we did really early testing regarding the migration, because we had an old system and needed to migrate the data to the new system. We finally learned GitLab is a really good tool for managing Git repositories, and up till now it's still the best. I think at least the best, which is available for a fair price to host it on your own service. The next project was different. I was hired as a tester, and I came in and asked them, "Hey guys, where's your test system?" And the answer was, maybe you go to the developer and ask him how to install the system on your laptop. And after certain steps with reading documentation and asking, I finally got it run. And this project was not running for a short time, it was running for years, because it was a big insurance company, and it was not really hard to install the system because there were so many hidden requirements. And this was where DevOps and QA came up, because to install the system, we needed a really good documentation, and there is no better documentation than automatization. If it's automated, every step what's needed to install the platform is documented. And that's what we did. Even if I was hired as a tester, I did all the DevOps stuff. At that time, we were using Vagrant, and just getting, I think it was Vagrant and Ansible, just getting all requirements together, asking the developers around, and make it running. Another thing at this point was the developers and the testers were not best friends. I had a testing colleague, and he was telling, "Oh, the developers, they're bad guys. We're just here for blaming them." And that was the thing. It did not went well. On the other hand, one day I walked into the developers and just asked a simple thing. I think for some code statistics or something. He was like, "Oh, you testers always blame us. You always tell us something." And so we had to fix it to a cooperative partnership. And at the end, it was more productive to work together with them. And we even could get it to a better solution. And also the developers used our automatization to run it on Vagrant, and we had at least fine document a way how to get the system running. The other company where I joined, it was a huge company in Germany, and they were dealing with kind of tax software. And when I came in there, they told me, "Oh, our release process is like every year at December, we send out a compact disk to our customers, and they're going to install it." And they were only building one version of the product per year that had a longer testing phase. Of course, that will have a short feedback loop. And within that short feedback loop, it's hard to run tests. You don't get feedback fast. The cost of errors will grow up. And actually, they had a whole team integrating the software to get everything together. They told us it's almost impossible to do it faster. But at the end, we were really, really getting nightly built. So we get a build every night. So we could do that really quick. And we even automate the software. So we automate the test suite, get the whole test suite running. For that, we don't use standard tools. We use like kind of our old tools build it because that software was so special. It was Windows software, and we also written some little Windows programs. But with the thought of us, I had luckily two very good guys within my team. We could manage it, and now they're having like really fast process, really fast feedback, and what they told me in the first. The new methods are working for startup and Google-like companies, but not for us, was proven as not true. Yeah, we had a predictive build. So first we had a simple build, and we got it better and better with the time. We integrated the legacy testing framework, and we also introduced the HTTP method, which is a very good method. You have your requirements as executable tests there. Yeah, and just implementing impossible stuff can break barriers within a company. Yeah, project 4 was kick the football to the release button, and that one was I was first agile and quality assurance coach in the project. It was a very cool company, and we had a historical legacy project. We had various test systems. So we had 5 test systems and always needed to coordinate which one is the right. And we had kind of flaky tests. Sometimes they run, sometimes they're not. The challenges is like managing the different test systems and to get a stable test. What did we do to do it? We did configuration as code. Again, this one was a very good solution because with this approach, we could just update, set up new test systems and install automatically on that kind of test systems. So we did not need to care, how much test systems there are because we were dynamically creating them throwing them up in the Kubernetes cloud. We also automated the Selenium services where we had like different browsers running for browser tests. So for the test runners, we had also infrastructure as code, not only for our systems. The containerization of the application, it made it possible to test independently. And finally, we removed this flaky test by just splitting the test case in those who run right and those who run sometimes, and turning them over time by time, or even throwing them away. A big learning at this project was it's important to do continuously improving. We did not do a big bang. We improved it day by day or week by week. Mostly, we were running a community of practice for that, one for the release and one for the test suite, which was not a meeting where we meet up to talk, but a meeting where we meet to actually do things in pair programming and then split it up to the teams afterwards. Yeah. The last project I would like to tell you about, where I met both together, was a migration project. Before I was mostly in development, at that time was mostly operations. And the task was, this company had a data center, but this data center was old. They had a power supply which was going too old, and they had some systems they want to lose. So they decided to move in the cloud because they even planned to move to another building, and they didn't want to move the data center. Multiple legacy applications as a challenge, and they had a peak time. Actually, today it's Black Friday, and that's what their peak was. So it needed to be sure to cover the traffic on Black Friday and the Christmas traffic. And they did not have the time to fix anything. The clash was we should do performance testing before we migrate stuff, because the performance was that important for them that we needed to do it. We needed to be able to switch back if it's not what's running. And we also came up with our infrastructure and configuration as code needed a kind of QA. At one point, we had developers, they couldn't read the scripts, which was a big challenge, and we solved by code reviews. On the other hand, we need to make sure it can run every time. So we implemented kind of coding standards for our scripts, and then decide which one to use. And we need to enable experiments. In case of make various configurations available, so we could see this. One learning was, which we call resting is not testing. Just having a system there without load, that does not mean it's running. And not all things can be tested in advance. So this A/B testing in live, something on the old data center and some on the new, was really good for us, so we could test the new data center with some traffic. So far I have to see if I still got a bit time. I hope so. Some learnings I had where we had one thing which was prediction versus production, and that was about when we predict something with test, it was not always as good as being live in production. We had to find the right balance and find the right things, like having tests in the prediction area, but also monitor it if we go live and learn from the live things and have fast feedback from the live and production results. Learning from each other but was pretty new. Some point. For me, it does not mean you have to do all the things yourself, but you have to be open to learn from others and see their perspective. For example, if you are a QA professional or a DevOps, you can learn how they think, maybe what kind of tools they use, what kind they feel, to get a better understanding of each other. Seeing each other as friends is for me really important in a project. I have seen this project where people fighting against each other, they don't like it, and even it's not productive. Operational requirements need to be considered early. With the DevOps movement, it comes up, but I've seen companies which do not think about how to operate the software. If you do it really the agile way and going fast live with the real product, it's easier likely that you have also a growing infrastructure with your growing product. And you need quality assurance for the automatization itself. The feedback cycle is really important. You have it in Agile, where it is the Scrum value. The quality assurance is in the principles of the test fundamentals. And in DevOps, it's just called feedback loop. What does DevOps mean for quality assurance? Infrastructure or anything as code is the best documentation you have. It's really important learning, and it helps to reduce test system costs. If you have environments early, it ensures that you are able to test early and you get fast feedback, which is good. And all these, you have kind of a role mindset, which is the old way, somebody telling, I'm just tester, or a missions mindset. The missions mindset is like, get that product out, and then you do anything what's needed. Like me, when I was hired as a tester, I even did a DevOps infrastructure stuff. Now we got some time to see here clashes. It's almost most the end. Is there anybody having experience? And I'm gonna check this chat. I'm sorry, I've got a little bit, about the technical issues. I'm gonna stop screen sharing. So we can talk a bit about you have any experience with clashes with getting together quality assurance and DevOps. May I ask how many time do we have left? That's good. Fair, 2 minutes. As a final conclusion, I think both disciplines, quality assurance and DevOps, work perfectly together. So with DevOps, you bring in a lot of quality you haven't had before, especially if you automate things, and especially if you have, looking at the production in the DevOps way. There is always a fluent overgoing of what kind you have. Like I worked with some people having the position of site reliability engineer, which is, I think, a relative of the DevOps. I worked with teams operating, and I also worked with quality assurance inside operations teams. So I'll bring that one up. I hope you learned some stuff of this presentation, and I will be open to questions afterwards. So if anything is still leaving, still left, just write me. You can always send me on LinkedIn. And so far, thank you for listening. And Maximiliano.
Thanks, John. It's been a great talk. Really great experiences that you share with us. The clashes, the continuous improvement for not being, it should be always in our side, because there's always room to learn and to improve our processes. Thank you very much for being with us today. I will make sure that you get directed any questions that may appear in the chat so you can answer them properly.
Okay, thanks for having me here. And it was a pleasure to speak on the other side of the world. I think you got warm weather out there, right?
Yep.
It's about 50 degrees.
It's warmer here. It's around 22 degrees Celsius.
Okay, I got -2, so
all right, it's a bit cold for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
it.
Yeah. Have a nice. We can stay for the. We're gonna do a raffle at the end, so stay. You may get something out of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.